Here we have a Windows Server 2012 R2 domain controller, and on this DC we're going to install the nFront password filter system. When you download the evaluation version of the software, you will get a zip file, and it's going to unzip into this file structure. There are really three different MSI packages, each offered in a 32 and 64-bit version, and the most important is the filter itself. The filter itself that's highlighted here would be installed onto each of the Windows domain controllers, and on a first-time installation you will need to reboot. We prompt with an optional reboot at the end of the installation. However, you could say no and choose to delay that during out-of-office hours, perhaps if you're installing in production. The reason for that is this follows a traditional Microsoft password filter approach, and password filters are only read during the boot cycle. However, the good news is that once you've installed a product, we've adopted an architecture such that you should never have to reboot again in order to do a bug fix or an upgrade. So the filter will be installed onto each of the domain controllers in that Windows domain. The other component we have here would be the client. The client's an optional component. Our filtering and application of the rules always happens on the domain controller itself. However, the client can give the end user a better experience. On the password change screen, we will show the rules that apply to their account, even if multiple policies are involved. We will show an optional password strength meter you can expose, and we also have a much more detailed failure message if they do not meet the rules. The other component we have here is the Expiration Service. It is really only needed if you're using the multi-policy version of our software, and it allows you to vary the different and choose a different maximum password age based on the different policies in our software. So it may be a common practice that the end users may expire every 180 days. However, maybe domain admins or more privileged users, you wish to expire those every 30 or 60 days. So we can always lessen the amount of time between password expirations using that service, and it does have an optional an email capability to it, and some reporting that it can do as well. So in this video we're going to install the filter. So I'll double click on the filter itself. The installation is very basic. You simply agree to the license agreement, say next. It's going to install the filter DLLs, the two supporting services. It will copy over a default dictionary, so if you enable dictionary checking, you can use our default or you can choose to modify that. And it will provide the administrative templates that can be used to control the software via GPO. So the installation is quite simple. Here I'm going to say no because I'm going to reboot and show the configuration in a later video. So that's the installation of the filter. At this time, it might be advantageous to show how the filter interacts with the system. So I thought it would be handy to show some notes on how password changes are handled. When a password change happens on a workstation, it is sent to a domain controller. And it does not matter if it's a workstation or this is an iPhone or this is an SSL VPN. Regardless of where that password change was sourced, it will have to reach a domain controller to change for that AD user account. The password change is going to be handled by the LSA process on the domain controller, so the local security authority will check it against the domain policy first, and any fine-grained policies if you've defined those. If the password meets that criteria, then the nFront password filter product is called. So therefore you want to always think of our product as a supplement that goes above and beyond those requirements you've set at the domain level. So you would continue to use your domain policy to set your minimum length, min-max aging, history, and optionally use the Windows complexity, and you're going to use our software to add additional restrictions. The nFront password filter product will respond to the local security authority with a yes or no. Either we approve or disapprove of the password change. If we say yes, the LSA will store the password in the AD and then call upon any password synchronization functions. So your identity management type of software, any kind of password sync products you have should work absolutely fine with the nFront software. And if we reject that password change, that's the point at which the LSA will contact the workstation, and a rejected password change would not continue into any type of password synchronization process. It would be stopped there, never committed to the AD database, and the client will get an error message back and respond however it's been programmed to handle those errors. So hopefully this gives you an overview of the software, how it supplements the Windows password policy system, and as you see, the installation is very easy. In another video we'll come back and show how to do the configuration of some example policies.